Okay. For better presentation purposes, I'll switch off the video of mine, but you can see me and hear me at the, I guess. Okay. Thank you very much. I like to, at the outset, would like to thank the Staff Development Committee for this opportunity. And welcome and good afternoon to all of you. Let me start the presentation. Right. So we are going to talk about how to make presentation more appealing to the audience. I hope you can hear my voice clearly and you can see my presentation as well. Can you?
Yes, madam.
And you can hear me well as well.
Yeah.
Right. So now at the beginning, I have to confess that I'm not an IT expert by any mean, but I'm just sharing my experiences as well as the things that I have learned from others with you so that we can help each other. That's basically my intention. Right. So why should your presentation look good? Because we all know this graph. At the beginning, the audience is at their full attention, everybody is listening. But after some time, 10-15 minutes time, based on the duration of the whole entire lecture, attention spans drop to very low levels. And again, towards the end only, they pick up again, they start listening to you. Okay, so for that reasons, we have to sort of, do certain things to enhance the learning experience. In that way, we can either give a little bit of a rest or we can do some break-in activity, but which is not very easy when it comes to academic activities because our time is limited and we are sort of bound to not to deviate from the topic. Okay, so for that reason, we need to make our presentation look good so that our audience won't be like this yawning or half asleep, or you have the attention of your audience well if you do that. That is why we would like to sort of do our presentation well. Okay, just wanted to know whether you still can hear me well.
There is echoing, Hasini. Must one might have to be close, no? One mic.
So can you hear now well, or there's no echoing right now,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm trying to share my screen. Hope you can see this screen now. Right. Hope you can see this screen. So I have put a message to your chat box. Please try to answer the question. I want you to say where do you work or where do you study, just with one word. Don't, if it is USJ or FMS USJ, type it as just one word without keeping any in between spaces. Just use the link. Okay, so this is a word cloud, which is an interacting sort of software where we can interact with the audience well. And it looks like the audience now, there are many who have responded, and most of them, 18 have responded, and most of them seems to be from the university sector. Okay. So this is a word cloud where you can see based on the number, when there are a large number responding, of course, then you can, well, I wanted you to respond actually using that link so that it gets into this slide. Okay. Right. So I'll stop sharing and I'll go back to my original slide. Right. So we were here. Hope you can see the slide, the presentation again. Can you, Sajid? Sajid, can you see this?
Yes, madam.
Yes, Hasbin.
We can.
Yeah. Okay. So objective of this
Yeah.
presentation is to help you to improve your lecture presentation. And so what shall we talk about today? I'm going to divide my lecture into three areas or compartments, I would say. Initially, I'll just touch on the content, and later on, most of the bulk of the lecture is on presentation or the slides, and later on, I'll talk about the delivery as well. Okay, right. So this is the ice-breaking session that I just did. I just did only one slide. We'll do another one later on. So I'm starting to talk about the content here. Well, when I talk about content, this is about what you're going to put it on your slide. Well, you're the expert in your presentation because you have been invited, because either you have the experience or you're the academic you have academic expertise to do that. So you're the best person to decide what you're going to put on your slide. Okay, so I won't be able to tell these are the things that better to go in, or so on and so forth. You're the expert, so you decide what to go in. But when you're deciding, now, I'm sure you are, at least some of you all are familiar with this triangle, where in a lecture, when you deliver a lecture, basically the lecturer is the one who actually benefits more, because the lecturer learns a lot. Lecturer learns about 90% of the time. That is active learning. And if you look at the other end, of the receiving end, if by listening to a lecture, they only learn very little. Basically, that happens, it's passive learning. So if you enhance your presentation using various, now kind of aesthetic ones, we cannot do at a lecture hall mostly. Not that you cannot in the clinical lecture demonstration, you can do that. But at least when you're presenting online, you can use these visual activities to enhance learning. So that's what we are trying to do by improving your slides. But you're the expert, you decide what to say, but based on the time, audience, and purpose of delivery of the lecture. And apart from the content, it's very important that you line up your content well, so that you have a key in your head, you have a key message that you want to deliver to the audience, and you have a set order or an outline of your lecture, how you're going to deliver that key take-home message. Okay, so whatever it is, keep them simple. Keep it simple. That's the key to success in most of the instances. Okay. So now I'm moving to the second part of it. I said content, I'm not going to talk about much, but actually, even though it does not fall into content, I would like to say that when you're delivering a lecture, your attire, the outlook is also important. Since I am talking about delivery later on, I'll get on to that later. So now I'm moving on to preparation. Now, preparation of the slides, first thing is, first you have to select a good presentation software. Now, most of us use Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. Now, when we use Microsoft PowerPoint, in day-to-day use, that's our usual tool, I would say. But in certain instances, when we want to sort of, show off or, show our IT skills, or, just to show off few, instances, we use Prezi, which is a different software. And I have seen some other students using various Canvas presentation modes. Apart from Prezi is also using a Canvas, but like Canva software and all that, I have seen students doing them. But generally, we all use Microsoft. So I'm going to stick to Microsoft's PowerPoint presentation slides today for this presentation. Whatever the software you use, key is to use what you're more confident of using, the most appropriate one, because it's, IT is a tool which is very nice, but if you, get messed it up, it can make you look bad as well. So it's always good that you use your most confident one to deliver any lecture at anywhere. But keep those slides very, nice and simple. Less is more always. Okay, right. So moving on, first thing is we want to select the design. Well, when selecting a design, I would say first we basically go to PowerPoint, and when we click it, we get into this interface where most of us use this home option. At least at the beginning, when we were new beginners level, we use this home option and we take a blank presentation. Okay, so when you take a blank presentation, you have this option of selecting a design. Now, design, you can select from which is available in your software, or in the newer ones like Microsoft 365, you get this designer option, where again you can select a nice design ideas from it and do the presentation with that. Okay, now you would have noticed this, I use this one because I liked it. Or somebody who wants more dynamic ones can use, there are many options available, so you can use any dynamic ones like the one you are seeing. Okay, and not only the content slide, the title slide, when you go to the inner slides, also you get all these options available, and the designer will sort of throw you nice presentations, nice slides. They just customize your slide into a nicer one. But it's up to you to decide which is more suitable for your audience and which is more suitable for the occasion, if it is an academic one or a very kind of very informal one, or based on that you have to select this. And the other mistake sometimes we do is we get carried away with these nice ones, and for one we select this, and for the next one we select a totally different color combination, and then your uniformity of your presentation get lost in that. So that should not happen as well. And now, earlier I also used this option of going to home and taking the blank ones. Now, of course, for the past 1 decade, I would say, I was using this new option. So there also you get blank presentations. Of course, if you have not used new option before, this is how your interface appear right now. Your screen looks like this. But if I go to my screen, it looks like this. Why? You can see that apart from the blank ones, I have some nice presentation slide options available here. Why and how? Because I have got them, incorporated into my system from here. It is in the software. You go to this presentation and you get very nice templates appearing. There is an array of presentation templates available, and you can use whatever you like. And say if I use this first one, and if you click it, it will appear. You can actually go up and down to see the others as well. If you like this one, you just have to click this create, and it will get downloaded and incorporated. And then if you want, you can actually pin them based on whatever your preferences are. Okay, so apart from that, you can, apart from going directly to presentation, you can type one thing, say medical or education, or maybe lab, something lab related, something pharmacy, or whatever you type. If there are any presentations which are suitable, they will appear there. Okay, And there are other options also. You can see theme, education, chart, diagrams, and all that. You can just click it and see what comes on. Say this is what the diagram looks like. They have different templates which are ready-made ones, which you can actually use them. You don't have to use as it is. You can select an appropriate one and you can sort of edit it and amend it and use for your purpose. Okay, so there are so many options coming in which you should be using when you prepare presentation to make it more nicer for your audience. Okay, and let's see preparing the slides per se. How do we do that? Now, most of the people, what they do is when they get when you start a blank presentation, they go to home and they select a design and then just they take the layouts and start typing, or they use ready-made previous material in a Word document and copy paste to the PowerPoint presentation. But before you do that, it's always a good practice to do your slide master. You prepare a master slide. How do you do that? You go to View and there you get this slide master. This slide master option, say, it provides the sort of the framework for your entire thing, entire presentation. Say if you want to change the color, now this appears in maroon color. If you want to change this to blue color, you have to do it. It's better to, and it's easier and time saving to do it in the slide master, because once you do all these changes, it will get incorporated into your whole presentation. So rather than doing the slides one by one, it's always easy and quicker. And say if you want to put a logo, say if I do some presentation for SLMA, I wish to put a SLMA logo here. What I had to do is I had to paste it only here and save it and close it, and then it will get appear in entire presentation. I don't have to paste it for each and every slide. And also say, now here you can say by default, it comes the same bullet points. It's a dot that comes for the bullet points. But I usually like the first line to be like that, and the second line, I want it to be a different bullet. So what I do is I do that change in the slide master without doing it every slide. Now, when you have to do it in every slide, it's time wasting. Plus, you may forget what you have done in the previous slide, and you may use a different one for the second level or the third level. So all that problems are actually stopped when you do this slide master. And here you can also see that there is time given and all that. If you don't like, I always delete this date here. And in fact, I also delete this number of slides, because in certain instances, when it is say now this is a 1 hour lecture, when I have so many slides, at the beginning, your audience get demoralized to see that if there are so many slides, or sometimes we get carried away. Now there are certain the lecturers who bring very minimal number of slides to the audience. That also is not helpful, which I should have told you in the content when I was talking about the content. If I just deviate from this slide and go back to that one, sometimes when we decide on the content, now usually people say when it is when it is a new person, beginners put too many content into slides and try to deliver too many content during their presentations. Whereas I think even the experts do the other way around, where they put too little content. And at the end of the day, if you go and have a look at that PowerPoint presentation, unless you do screen recording or record the lecture, there's nothing in those slides. So in which case, it is of no use to the audience. So we should not do both things. So that's why the number of slides came to my mind. So moving on. So once you do your master slide, you can change your font, you can change your colors, you can add effects to, slide transitions and all those effects you can add. And then you save and you close your view. Everything will get incorporated into your slides. Okay, your presentation will have all those slides, the presentation, the specifications that you put in the slide master. Okay, so the next thing is to put content into your slides. And for that, there are so many layout options given by the PowerPoint. I think it's I mean, if you didn't do that, you should do it because it makes your life easy and it saves time. I have seen some people use the blank slide and then they insert insert a box and start typing it, text box and type. I think that's waste your time because you have to align it and you have to use, adjust your font and all that. And there are so ready-made layout slides available. It's better to use those. And one other mistake a lot of people do is they use this title and content slide for everything. And even if they want only the title, they just type the title. They know that it is not seen to the audience if they don't type anything here. But when you have this title only option, why should you use this? Because when somebody looks at your presentation, when they see that this is blank, it looks bad on you. So I think it's better to get away from that habit of using the inappropriate slide for inappropriate work. There are layouts available, use them appropriately. And there are certain basic principles or basics in preparation of slides. I'm sure all of you all know it, but I just wanted to remind you. One thing is this appropriate layout. Now, appropriate layout here is not the layout that I was talking about a minute ago. I'm talking about now we use English and Sinhala for communication here in the most of the instances, I would say, based on your first language, of course. Mostly it is English, we would say. Now, in English, we write the title first and then we read from left to right. That's the usual way of reading English. That is because there are other languages where it's the other way. That's why I'm saying it. So it's always easy when you deliver the lecture in English, put the headline on the top, put the other content below it. That's the way to read, and put your content, the reading content, onto left side. So it's easier and it's more audience friendly if you do that way. Not that you cannot do this, but this is more audience friendly when you do this content headline first, the title first, and then the writing on the left side and your images on the right. Okay. And usually, even if you paste in sentences form, always try to cut down unnecessary words, because less is more. You have to put only the bare minimal things on your slide. So change your sentences into phrases. Have bare minimal writing on your slide. And I'm sure everybody knows about this 6x6 rule. What is 6x6 rule? Just to remind, 6x6 is you have 6 lines per slide, and in one line you have only 6 words. Okay, in one particular PowerPoint slide you should have only 6 lines, and in the first line or whatever the lines, you should have maximum of 6 words. That's the 6x6 rule. So that is more attractive and more appealing to the audience. And what is this orphan that I'm talking about? I say watch out for orphans. Orphans is where when you write a sentence, or if it is a phrase, if it has longer words, sometimes one word drops to the second line. That is called orphan. And usually you should avoid doing that. It's not very attractive, or it's not audience friendly. You can do 2 things. One thing is you try to cut down on the number of words and try to get that orphan into the same line as the others. One thing. The other thing is, if you cannot do it, if there are technical terms which are very long and lengthy and so you cannot help it, then you add some other word and make it, not just one word in the second line, you make it 2 words or more than 1 word. Okay, so that is what you have to do if there are orphans in your lines. Okay, and then keep the colors to simple. Now I know you know that we have to use contrasting colors, in the sense if you use a lighter background like what I have done here with dark font, or you can do the other way around as well. But when you are using a color, mind that these fancy colors, the luminous colors are eye-soaring. It's not very, it leads to eye fatigueness. So don't do that. It's not audience friendly. So use your colors, very simple, nice colors, pleasing to the eye. And the slide transition. Now, well, here I haven't used any slide transition as such, but when you use one, you should not use overly, you should not make it a distraction to the audience, because if you change your transition method from one slide to another, if you use several transition methods when you go along your presentation, it is more for distraction than a attraction. Okay. And again, I'm talking about the basics that we know, and I'm just recapping on the things that we already know. We need to select a good font for our presentation. That's one of the basics as well. So what is the best font style that you should select? Usually it is accepted one is sans serif fonts. Now serif means they have little lines. Those fonts have little lines. I'll show you at the end, when every letter has little lines in their fonts. Those are called serif fonts. And sans means devoid of, so not having. So sans for serif fonts don't have those lines. If I show you an example, it will be clearer, I guess. Now here, the Times New Roman, they have, when you look at these letters, you can see that there are lines. So those are good for printing purposes. When it comes to screens, these sans serif fonts like Arial, Calibri, Verdana, or Tahoma, those are better fonts. Those are more reader friendly because they are a bit roundish, and so those are the better ones to use when it comes to preparation of slides, the selection of fonts. And the font size, usually standard is to use more than 30 or above. So it depends, of course, based on your audience and the number of participants and the size of the hall, etc. But then font size, ideally, if you want your audience to read them, it has to be more than 30 in size. And when you use fonts, avoid too many styling for each line, like, having too many stylings in the same slide, as well as doing the same, too many stylings for the same line is it's not audience friendly. So avoid doing that. I'm preferring to say, if you want to bold and then underline it and highlight, it's doing too much, I guess. If you do it for the entire thing, maybe it looks okay, but if you first line is sort of highlighted in yellow, the second one is highlighted in green, the third one is underlined, or the next one is in italics, it looks messy. Okay. And the animation also, if you're use simple animation. I mean, what is required now? The intention of doing a lecture mostly is for us to sort of give some information to the audience. You want the audience to learn. You don't want to show off your IT skills when you're doing a lecture. Your idea is to use your IT skills for better learning experience for the receiving end. So don't try to show off your IT skills by using too many animations. Even if you know how to do them, better to use very simple ones. And the third, and at the beginning, when I showed you that triangle of learning, I showed you when you show images and when you have visual aids, not only images, videos, or anything, the learning is enhanced. But if you select the wrong images, or if you don't select the images wisely and appropriately, that will also sort of hampers or sort of distract your audience. Okay, so select the best suitable images. And when you're selecting images also, sometimes what we do is, we think it's easy, we just go and type the keyword in the web and internet, and then we download it and save and copy and paste, or whatever we do. But sometimes you can find better images if you check peripheral words, like, you have a central keyword, but if you, synonym or something like that, you may get better pictures. So just try those options and see whether you can find better pictures, more appropriate pictures. Just don't try just one keyword, not only your central keyword, but try others as well. Okay. So now this is about animation, since I mentioned animation. Now, when you add animations, now if you have several slides where you want the same animation to appear, you don't have to do that for every slide. You have this option of Animation Painter, where you have now for this slide. Now you can see that for the slide 42, I have added this appear one by one option of animation. Now, if I select this and go and click this animation painter, I can put it to other slides where I need such animation appear. So I don't have to redo it, just one go. You can do similar animation to, if you, now this is of course simple animation, but if you apply certain specific, time consuming animations, you can just use this animation painter and do the same to the other slides as well. You don't have to repeat it. And in the animations, it's just not the entrance and exit. You can add, on the top of your entrance, you can use emphasis animations. You can also use exit. You can, for the same line, you can use several animations based on your requirement. And these are very self-explanatory and very easy to learn. So it's better that you learn on your own. I'm not going to go into details of those. And another thing is, if you want to change the appearance or the order of appearing of the animation, there is an option where you just go to animation pane, and then you select, then you can use this up and down button to change the order of appearance. You don't have to, undo and redo things. It's time saving. And also, if you want to change the effects, whether it's timing or any other, you can just do it by selecting and going into this extra option of effects options. And then, you can make it start on a click, or you can start it with the previous or after the previous. Likewise, you can do that. And timing also, sometimes, if you don't like it, if you want it to appear quickly, you can change it to fast or very fast, or likewise, you can do those effects animations. You can change according to your requirement. Okay, right. Now I'm moving to inserting and editing images, figures, and videos. Most of the things you all already know. I'm skipping those where, mostly what we do is we go to internet, we search an image, we copy and paste, and we copy and come and paste it here. That's the usual one. But we can cut down that time that we use or waste to look for images also, because there are so many options available. If you haven't explored this is just a matter of exploring each of these options. I'm just going to show you one or two so that you can do it later for yourself. Now, when you put images, nowadays we do online auspice, even for exams. Now, when you want an image to be inserted, you have to correct the image. Now, the images that we have in our computer may not be the best, or when we download an image, when we sort of copy paste from different, say first you paste it in a Word document and then you come and bring it from the Word to here, then your resolution and the effect and the quality of the image goes off. So you can enhance and change it from here. And especially if you compress the picture, it has the option of making it HD image. So you can do those to enhance your image, especially when it comes to exams or online practical classes. And another thing that I have seen is most of the people, when they have 2-3 images, when they have to move up and down, or you have to change the position, they, take each and every image and, drag and, put it in the places that they want. But if you want several images, now this is an easy one. But if you have, say, for any paper or for a research presentation where you have put label them. Now imagine if I have put label A, B, C to these, and I have written some description underneath. There are so many things to in the image itself. So if you want all that to go as one image to another, you have to group them. Hope most of you all know it. You just have to select these. You holding the control button, you can select each of these images and you can group them. Now imagine later on you want only this first image to be copied, then you just click ungroup and it just come to ungroup option, and then you copy and take it off, or you replace one with another or whatever, and then you click regroup and it automatically regroup with the image. Okay, so that is an easy option as well without doing it manually. And another thing that people do is adjusting the image manually. You try to manually adjust within the slide. You try to center it. I mean, that's again a waste of time because there's an option to align your image. You can just align center or you can bring it to middle just by using these options which are already available. You don't have to do it manually. Okay. And the other thing which sometimes we see in lectures is they have dragged the image so that the image is already distorted. Either it has squashed or it is flattened and it's like in cartoons. So it looks really odd, and you don't, if it is a scientific image, you want the dimensions to be, exact. So that doesn't happen in these ones when you just drag it. So before you drag an image, if you want to resize the image, you have to lock the aspect ratio. If you just click on the size, this drop down list appear, and just lock the aspect ratio before you drag it. You can resize by dragging from the corners, but whatever you do before you do that, it's better to lock the aspect ratio so that it retains. Even if you drag, it will retain the size. And even, I mean, you don't have to drag actually. What I usually do is I go to either width or height and just highlight it and type, say this is in 3.98 inches. I just go and select it and type 5 and enter, and then it resizes to size 5. Okay, so these are just time saving effects. And mostly when we want some icon or some kind of illustration, what we do is we type in the internet, we copy and paste it and come and paste it in your slide. So that is actually, you need the internet to do that, and it's a waste of your data also, because this PowerPoint comes with loads of options available. Now, if you go to this icon, it has a lot of images, a lot of icons, a lot of videos, a lot of stickers, cartoon people, a lot of them. And you can use them easily. You don't have to worry going to internet and selecting this. Also, if you now if I want to use tick to indicate correct option, if I type correct or tick or whatever, it gives many options of ticks here. So I can just pick one and select it and just insert using this. Okay, so that's an easy one. And you have seen this 3D model one. If there are images which you can use for 3D effect of it, you can rotate them, you can sort of twirl them, or you can do all that with them. You can make an image look like running using that. There are so many options available. Now, I know these scientific images are not so accurate to use in medicine or in scientific teaching, but if you are using it for lay people or for health education purposes, you can use these most of the models available, or you can use other ones which are available. So these ones come with, if you want to rotate this, it has the rotating effect as well. So those are things you should explore in PowerPoint. And also in this icon, you have these videos. Now, videos, since I have typed water, it appears only the what is related to water, but there are so many options of videos available. It's nature, flowers, things that, I mean, the first slide that I used, the flowers, those are from this icon. I didn't go to internet to find such a thing. I just took it from here. Okay. So since I feel that you all must be feeling a bit boring, I just use this slide to, awake you if you were dozing off. Right. So then I just wanted to talk about inserting a video also, because like we copy and paste images from internet, we have this bad habit of, just either downloading and saving into our computer and copy and pasting the video to our slide directly. We take a blank slide and we just paste the link or the video directly to our slide. So what happens is if you change the computer, your video doesn't work. Or if you change if you don't carry your video presentation in your pen drive that you carry, then again the video doesn't play. So to avoid that, best way is to use online videos. You go to insert and select this get the drop down list of video, click it video, and then you get this drop down list, and there you use online video. When you click it, this image appears here. Okay, so this you have to go to YouTube separately and copy the link, and you come and paste it. And when you do that, whatever, now here I have pasted this link, the Mentimeter. The Mentimeter is the one which I use for ice breaking session, where I ask the location that you work. So that video I have put it here, and automatically it appears here, and then all I have to do is insert it. Okay. So I'll just show this video here now.
Welcome. How to insert video in PowerPoint. Click on PowerPoint. Click on New Blank Presentation. Click on Insert. Click on Online Video. Search video according to your choice. YouTube will show results and you can choose according to your need. Click on Insert. To insert your video. Video is uploaded. It will show when you start slideshow. Thank you for watching. Welcome.
Right. So that's all about presentations or slides that I thought of telling you. But if you're wondering now, if you have a video in your desktop or in your laptop, and if you want to upload that video, how would you do it? I suggest that first you upload it to your personal YouTube, private YouTube that you have in your Gmail account. If you have an Gmail email account, you have a small tab called YouTube where you can upload your own videos to that, and then you can use you have to make it public for you to use it, and then you can use that option to get that online video, because YouTube videos are better than the videos that you have in your, even though you create it, when you upload and get it from the YouTube, it enhances the learner experience. So try to do that. Okay, right. So, well, time to time, you realize that I disappear the content of this presentation. How I do that is when I press W in your keyboard, it becomes your slide becomes white. And if I want to make it black, I just have to press B on your keyboard, and then it becomes black. Okay, so that is when you want to talk, and if you don't want your audience to read your slide, you can do that. Okay, right. So we come to the third part of my presentation, where I'm going to talk about the delivery, how to improve your delivery. One thing is to arouse interest at the beginning or grab your attention. Don't assume and don't think that your audience is going to, just because they log into your presentation, they are interested, or they came there to, don't assume that they are going to be very attentive. No. You have to first grab your attention. Now, in the practical classes, say in the physical classes, we generally say, "Can I have your attention, please?" or something like that to get their attention to you. But when we deliver online lectures, we need to, or even when we are doing it physically, when it is a large group of teaching, we have to first start with grabbing the attention of the audience. How do we do that? There are various ways. These are all medical education things that they tell us. You can use images, you can use numbers, you can use case reports, or you can use case scenarios, all small video clips, or maybe it's just some cartoon animation, or well, I had sometimes back I used to work in Malaysia, and that time there was an anatomy lecturer from Sri Lanka, anatomy professor. He is actually to grab attention, he's not singing, he sings. Since he can sing well, he can do it well. If I sing, you will not stay in the lecture, I guess. But based on you can select what I used to do is I use sort of a historical painting, or say if I teach about STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, I use image of the goddess Venus, because venereal diseases, the word has come from Venus, love, god of love. So likewise, you can select something which is relevant to your thing. I have used numbers. It may be the, say, road traffic accidents last year, the number of deaths or something like that. You use something to get your attention of the audience, so they become curious to find out, so they'll be listening to you. Okay, so that's one thing to do. And these providing learning outcomes are just normal, ordinary things that we usually do. So I'm not going to go on to details of those, recalling prior knowledge and all that. When we do academic teaching, we do all this. So another important thing is signposting. And in fact, the younger generation, when they do presentation, they actually do this. It is, I'm sorry about the spelling error here. It is the older generation. We are not used to do that, but it's a good practice now. When I say, now I'm going to say this, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Likewise, I have to signpost, because at the beginning we show our entire overview of the layout of the presentation to the audience. So they are, at that moment, we place them in right place and they know what to expect. So when we signpost throughout the lecture, we carry them with, we take them with us. Otherwise, if we don't signpost, all of a sudden they may get sort of lost in the slides, and they may not be at comfortable position to listen to your lecture. Okay, so for that reason, signposting is very important. And then explain this again. This is medical education. I'll just skip that. And then this is an important thing. Pay attention to the quality of speech. Now it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 3 minutes presentation. You automatically will retain the quality of your speech throughout. But when it is, say, now this is a 1 hour lecture, 1 hour presentation, then after some time, the audience is going to sleep, as well as the presenter is going to sort of, come to a boring stage the presenter itself is going to lose the interest. So if you're not interested in your presentation, or if you become, feel boring, the audience is going to feel that. So you have to somehow retain the quality of speech. To do that, there are little things that you can do. Next slide, I'll show you those. And then one of the other things, one of the mistakes that we do as teachers is, some of us would have done this, some others wouldn't have done this, but at least we have experienced this at least as students also. We don't have the skill of asking and adopting questions from the audience. Getting the audience engaged is very good, but when you ask questions, when you ask a question from a student, that student may give you an answer. So whether that answer is correct or wrong is immaterial. You have asked a question, the audience has responded. That's a very, it's a positive thing that the audience has responded. So you have to acknowledge, or at least, unless it's good that if you can appreciate it, if you don't appreciate it, at least you have to acknowledge it. That person must have given that answer either by ignorance. It may be a rational answer or irrational answer, but you have to praise that person, or at least acknowledge that person for giving such an answer, at least for speaking up. That is not happening in our setup. Mostly, if a person gives a wrong answer, either we ridicule that person, or being harsh on that person, or without saying anything, we move on to the next person, implying by our gestures that the answer was wrong. So those are all wrong, or rather, those are not very audience friendly methods of teaching. You have to have the, develop the skills of asking questions, as well as adopting those questions. Adopting in the sense, if that person says something which is not the ideal answer that you expected, you have to say, yes, I mean, there is a point in there, but let's see whether there are other things. Or likewise, you indicate that, okay, you don't put that person, make that person uncomfortable, but you adopt that to, get into a next point or something like that. You have to develop the skills of asking and adopting the questions and responding to them, because we are very bad in, bad in the sense, not only in Sri Lankan setup. I think the globe south, the entire globe south is pretty bad in appreciating other people and giving credits to people. So we have to learn the skill of doing it from the globe north, I guess. Okay. And this is something which is very difficult. I know, as far as all of us are concerned, it's a challenge. And using technology effectively, you don't have to be an expert in IT to use effectively. It's just that some of the things we can learn, some of the things we can ask and learn, some of the things we can become an expert by practicing. So it's good that if you practice very well, and when it comes to technology, have backup plans. Sometimes whatever you do, whatever preparations you do, things can go wrong. It has happened to us at exams as well. We try to do some online exam or virtual slide presentation during an OSPE, and suddenly one slide doesn't appear. It's just a cross which appears. It happens because of certain technology, mismatching of your device as well as the image. So when that happens, what you have to do is, don't panic. You have to have plan Bs, plan Cs. You have to have backup plans if you're ready. Say if I lose electricity, or say if I lose Wi-Fi now, I have kept my phone aside, and so that I can deliver the lecture continuously. Or if I lose everything else, if I can switch on the microphone of the phone, I can still deliver the lecture, because I have listed down what, I have just jotted down a sort of a short note on a piece of paper with the types, the titles and the subtitles of the slides, so that without the presentation, I can do this presentation because I have prepared accordingly. Okay, and it is important that whatever the lectures that you do, summarize and reinforce the important points, the key message that you had in your mind at the beginning. You should reinforce that at the beginning. Okay, now since I said there are ways to improve, I said you can improve your quality of speech. This is one of the options given by the PowerPoint software itself. Now rehearse timing is to to make sure that you do well, but there is an option called rehearse with coach. That is, you don't have to deliver the entire presentation. Your way of talking will be the same whether you deliver one or two slides, you present one or two slides, or the entire presentation. So what you have to do is you present one or two few slides to this, do with the rehearse with the coach, and it gives you a feedback. It will say you're using this particular word too many times. It says you're using and your pauses are too long, and so on and so forth. They will give you a bit of a feedback. This option is there. If you haven't used it, just see. When I have to face, I had a 3 minutes assessment micro teaching session where I was, judged by the others, where I use this to practice beforehand because it's an assessment. Okay. So at the end of the day, the take-home message that I wanted to deliver was to keep things simple. Less is more. So keep things to the minimal. And so then only you will be able to deliver a very strong message to your audience. Okay, so I'm sure my audience looks like this right now. Some are confused, some are unhappy, some are happy, and some thought, okay, these are things that I knew. So because I had a interactive session with the audience to check your PowerPoint ability, but I didn't use it concerning the time because I had to change between the computers. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I have tried my best to make my presentation quite explanatory. Even if you don't have the recording, you will be able to look at the slides and learn what I intend to teach you. And thank you all. And thank you, the Staff Development Committee as well, to Professor Guani and Dr. Sagita Derisinghe, as well as to Professor Alok, the Dean. And this is a good wish slide where this stack of stones in South Korea means wishing you good luck. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, madam. Thank you for that excellent presentation. Now the floor is open for discussion. So if you have questions, you can unmute your mics and directly ask the questions from Professor Hasini.
I actually put this in the chat box. This is Isha here. Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, I can hear.
Yeah, when you use a internet video and you embed the link,
Yes.
you have to make sure if you're giving the lecture not at home or in some other hall, you have to
Yes.
make sure their internet works properly, right?
Yes, but when you embed the video, even
If you embed
without,
the whole video, you don't have to, but if
Ye-
you embed a link,
yes,
Yeah.
yes, link is not a good idea actually, because in our lectures we don't. I mean, even if you
Exactly.
carry, yeah,
Mm.
you have to embed the entire video. Putting the link will get you into trouble.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you all have any questions, please unmute yourselves and ask from Professor Hasini.
What I didn't tell you was about this Mentimeter thing, which I used actually. This is the Mentimeter slide that I use. I had few other slides which I didn't use. This is, you can go to this Mentimeter and it's very self-explanatory. You can have an account and use this option where this is a word cloud. Of course, you have this other options as well, which shows the number of participants who responded and so on and so forth. So that's actually one of the things that you can use to increase your audience experience and the engagement. So it's available online, and there are other than Mentimeter, there are other things as well. Other Slido and similar presentations are there which you can actually use. See, I'm just showing, this is what I intend to present to you earlier. I guess you can see. So I was going to ask this question as well. Yeah. Just see whether you can respond. I just put a question to your text. I just put a link to your chat box. If you respond, they will appear here. These are called interactive apps for presentations. These are useful for ice breaking and get your attention of the audience back to your presentation. Likewise, you can do all that with these interactive apps. Only thing is the basic version won't have the option of incorporating this into my PowerPoint slides. Instead, you have the option of downloading your PowerPoint to Mentimeter, which I didn't want to do. So you can sort of learn and do them. I learn on my own, so because I have seen these being used by others. Okay, then we can call it a day, I guess, Sajid.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you for that excellent presentation. On behalf of the Staff Development Committee, Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of Sri Jawatanpura, we would like to thank you for that presentation, and thank you all for your valuable participation. And this recording will be available at faculty YouTube channel very soon. So after once the video is ready, we will send you the video link. Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you all.